talk about attunement. Now, first off, it's kind of like a cousin of attachment, which a lot more people have heard of. So attachment is the bond usually between two people, oftentimes described between parents and children of, oh, what kind of attachment style do you have, or things like that. And attachment is a great thing to be aware of. But attunement kind of takes it to a little bit more of a logistical level. In some ways, and not in others. So attunement is generally, if we're saying between an adult and a child, the parent's or caregiver's ability to notice and be in tune with the baby enough to notice, oh, they're doing a thing. That thing might be crying. It might be a little easier than others. Sometimes it's, oh, my son, when he's tired, he pulls on his ear as like a self-soothing thing. Instead of like sucking his thumb or like anything else, yeah, he touches his ear. So we just noticed, oh, you touch your ear, that's a sign. I'm going to be present enough to notice you're doing that. We should probably start moving towards sleepy time or a lower energy activity to help support you where you're at. We literally, when he's tired, we say, oh, you got some ears. It's really cute. So it's noticing what the cue is. And it might be really explicit crying. It might be more subtle and specific to a different person of touching ears or whatever it is. And then it's interpreting it correctly. Because if I see, if someone else saw my kid touching their ears, they'd be like, oh, do you have an ear infection or do you have an itch or something? So they'd see that cue, but they wouldn't interpret it correctly. And that's fine. They don't have the rest of the context. But with caregivers, we're with people and have this relationship for such a long period of time that we learn the specific things and behaviors that these little people do. So it's noticing, interpreting it correctly, and then acting on helping meet whatever need that cue might be expressing. And they can have a happiness cue of just like jumping when they're happy. Like, that's fine. You can be like, oh, you seem so happy. It doesn't need to be a super big deal, but it can also be, oh, okay, I see you doing your ear. I know that means you're tired because of our experiences together. And I'm going to turn on the lower lights and go towards book reading to help ease into encouraging that sleepiness, or to help go in the direction that this cue has already told me they're going in, So it can be, it's the 3 steps. I'm like, it can be tricky, but it also can be really straightforward. For many kids, it's eye rubbing if they're tired. You see the eye rub, so you're paying enough attention. You don't have to be 100% focusing on a child at all times. We do not have the time and energy to do that, but to be present enough to notice, oh, they're rubbing their eyes. I'm interpreting that as that means that they're tired. So I'm going to start like the nap time or bedtime routine. The 3 steps: notice, interpret, and act correctly. So a way that we can look at of not doing it correctly is those people going, oh, he's touching his ear. Do you have an ear infection? Let me see if I can get the thermometer. Let me email the doctor. Let me look in there or something. That would mean super well. A typical person would do that. And the attunement is really getting in tune with your tiny person and their specific cues, and then meeting whatever need or supporting whatever need that cue is expressing.